You're just living. You wake up every day.
Yep.
You brush your teeth.
Yep.
You take a dump.
Yep.
You wipe, unless you have one of those awesome Korean toilets, you wipe your ass, the whole thing, and you do what you got to do, and you have your the Korean toilets, dude. You gonna get one of those?
오늘은 미국 펜실베니아 주립대학 사회학과 교수인 샘 리처드의 이색 강의를 번역해 전해드리려고 합니다. 세계 각국의 문화와 사회 현상에 대해 조망하는 샘 리처드 교수의 강의는 학생들에게 인기가 많기로 정평이 나 있죠. 특히 그는 한류 열풍을 초창기부터 짚어낸 인물로 잘 알려져 있습니다. 10년 넘게 21세기 세계를 이끌 나라는 한국이라는 발언을 하며 한국의 경제, 사회, 문화적 양상에 대해 미국인들에게 강의했으며 한국의 위대함을 알리는데 앞장서고 있죠. 그럼 그가 오늘은 전 세계 각국의 투표라는 주제로 학생들을 불러 모았습니다. 영상으로 확인해 보시죠.
Hey, so I think I want to have a conversation about voting. So I invited 6 people from class from 6 different countries. I just want to, so 6 of your fellow students, to have a conversation about what it's like in their lands. So, bro, let's start with you, man. Oman. Do you guys? So, you have a sultan.
Yeah, Sultan Haytham.
Yeah. No one knows anything about your country, man. So this is all you, my friend. Several years ago, there was an organization that was bringing students over to Oman for like a 15-day visit, and a couple of students from this class applied and they got to go. Yo, man, they said it was like the trip of a lifetime for them, man. So, okay, so your previous
Sultan Qaboos.
But he was one of those people so he was in power from 1970 to like about 2020, right? He just died?
Yeah, about 2020, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was in power for 50 years.
Uh-huh.
And he took power after his father in 1970, and he changed the country to what it is right now.
How did he change the country?
He started building schools, hospitals. Omanis, we had like to rationalize everything before, and our oil became our oil. Before him, we were not as developed, or we had like nothing going for us in the country.
Yep.
And after him, it's a whole new different country.
And women had then also got the right to vote under him.
Yeah, women got the right to vote.
But you guys, like, voting is like...
Yeah, voting is not like a big deal back home. But in different regions of Oman, we have different...
What's it like in Taiwan?
So you have to be 20 in order to vote in the election, and then you only have to be 18 in order to vote for the public issues.
Wait, hang on. So what do you mean by that?
It's like do you want the nuclear power plant to continue working or not, or like environmental issues?
So social and economic the number of issues that are out there.
Yeah.
You got to be 18 to vote on those. But to actually vote for
the election is 20.
Like politicians, you got to be 20.
Yeah.
Whoa, seriously? So does that mean then when you were there, you voted on? Did you vote ever?
No, because like I just have to be like 1 or 2 months older in order to vote.
Okay, I got you. No, but I mean for social issues and stuff. Did you have a chance to do that or not? Okay, I got you. All right. And then do you guys do you consider yourselves to be a democracy?
Yeah. I mean, Taiwan actually moved from flawed democracy to full democracy 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And then it's like I think it's ranked like 8th in the whole world, like as full democracy.
So voting's important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the voting rate is increasing recently.
Yeah, more and more people.
Yeah.
Got you. All right. Tien right here is going to tell you all about China. And you want to listen. But you don't vote for the president at all, and at those levels.
You might research that like people like the 18-year citizens have the right to vote for Chinese citizens, But like actually, most of us just don't vote and don't care about it.
Okay, but you only vote like okay. So Xi Jinping just got he just re-upped his time like a couple weeks ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
For another 5 years, which okay, and I'll withhold my thoughts on that. But so he re-upped the game. So he's got his third 5-year term.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He's voted on by like 2,950 people or something, right? But like you would never vote for him. You can only vote for the local level people, right? Am I
Yep.
right on that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So how is that? Like, how are those elections for local level? So you understand, like for the equivalent of the Chinese president, the people don't vote for that person. The people that vote for that person are people in the upper levels of the Chinese Communist Party, the CCP, okay? So they are making that decision. In local elections, have you ever voted in local elections?
Nope.
How come? Were you able to, or are you here in the U.S. and so?
Well, I don't know. Like what I'm gonna say. Like the mayors here. Like I don't know a lot about it, but I just heard about like some people just gonna vote it, but it doesn't relate to like the people around me or like the friends a lot.
So they're just the people who are going to be in power, just going to be in power.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Oh.
So you vote. Hang on, I'll say it for you, man. So you vote, but you got the person you're going to vote for. You put the check next to their name, but you know they're going to win. So it's like, okay, got it. Do you feel like somehow you miss out on something because you can't vote for your supreme leader? I mean, I'm saying it like let's say your leader.
I would just say like no comment because like probably like people know who is gonna be the leaders, but like just all the citizens just care about like how they just live, and well, there's some like kind of the stuff or the citizen might know or might don't know, but I think like the citizens, like the people just feel like they just great living in China. That's gonna be fine.
So you're just living. You wake up every day.
Yep.
You brush your teeth.
Yep.
You take a dump.
Yep.
You wipe, unless you have one of those awesome Korean toilets, you wipe your ass, the whole thing, and you do what you got to do, and you have your the Korean toilets, dude. You going to get one of those? Oh, you got one? Of course you do. Yeah. All right. People in China sit around thinking, oh, I wish we were like the Americans, that we got to vote for Joe Biden or Donald Trump or somebody.
Well, we're just curious about like and just make a lot of comments in internet. That's about like the American election, about like who is gonna be winning, Trump or Biden. We're just curious about that,
but you don't really care for yourselves. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Well, like the Democrat and Republican. Well, it's just gonna be like who is gonna be better benefit for international student, I think.
Got you. Okay, I got you. Right. I got that. Can I see a raise of hands? Like, how many of you are aware of Korea's cultural positioning in the world? How many of you have heard of BTS?
한류에는 한계가 없다. 나는 한국 그 자체의 매력에 빠져 40년 가까이 연구했으며 앞으로도 한국은 계속 성장해 갈 것이라 믿는다. 미국 펜실베니아 주립대에서 인종, 성별 및 문화 관계라는 과목을 강의하고 있는 샘 리처드 교수. 그의 강의에는 매 학기 800여 명의 학생이 수강할 정도로 엄청난 인기입니다. 사실 그가 본격적으로 이름을 알리기 시작한 것은 전 세계적인 한류의 유행과 시기가 맞닿아 있습니다. 특히 2018년 강의에서 방탄소년단이 누구인지 모른다면 앞으로 세계에서 경쟁할 수 없을 것이라고 말한 영상이 유튜브로 퍼지며 한류의 인기를 예상한 교수로 명성을 얻기도 했는데요. 그는 한류를 비롯한 문화 현상뿐만 아니라 사회 경제학적 관점과 한국의 전통, 역사까지 폭넓게 조망하며 한국에 대해 잘 알지 못했던 미국 학생들에게 영감을 주고 있죠. 그러나 미국에서 손꼽히는 한류 연구학자인 샘 리처드 교수가 늘 한국에 대해 좋은 점만 이야기하는 것은 아닙니다. 때로는 한국의 현실을 신랄하게 짚어내기도 하는데요. 오늘은 그가 지난 10월 한국에 다녀간 후 미국에서 진행된 강의를 번역해 소개해드리겠습니다.
And my mind goes to two words. And the two words are like, holy shit. Like, what happened? And I start asking myself questions. And the questions are the things that guide me and lead me to keep asking more questions. And I just want to know more, and I want to know more, right? And not Korea is a socioeconomic geopolitical miracle. What Korea has done, in my lifetime, we'll say in the past 55 years or so, has been something that we've really never seen in human history. To reach a level of modernization, growth, and development that we just have never seen. It's really, if you want to be, many of you are probably fascinated by, Korean culture and K-pop and this sort of thing. But it all comes from something. And if you look at those numbers there, South Korea in 1965, the GDP is 3.1 billion, and now it's 1.8 trillion. Korea, in 1965, the economy was, the country of Ghana was wealthier than Korea. The country of Algeria was wealthier than Korea. Dude, Tunisia was wealthier than Korea. And now Korea is the 10th largest economy in the world. And so if you don't think about, you don't have to think about a lot, really, right? But just that alone, if you have any interest in really kind of understanding, global issues or the world, anything at all, that alone would lead me as a sociologist to say, damn, what happened? And which is, of course, what it has maintained my interest in Korea. I was first interested or introduced to Korea back in the mid-'80s through some of the early to mid-'80s when I had some graduate student friends from Seoul. And I started to really kind of dig into Korean geopolitics and economics and familiarize myself with the culture and a lot of things. And so, I became just fascinated by Korea. And I have watched it, over the course of the past 40 years just expand. And by the way, the U.S. $23 trillion in 2021 last year, right? So just to kind of give you a sense of where the U.S. is. You're a country, if something grows as quickly as Korea has grown and expands, it's never going to happen evenly. It's going to be very, very difficult for Korea to overcome. And by the way, can I see a raise of hands? Like, how many of you are aware of Korea's cultural positioning in the world? Like the Korean wave, like food and music and K-dramas and K-film and so on and so forth. K-fashion and K-beauty and everything K-gaming and K-animation. Like, how many of you are really aware of Korea's position in the world? I'm just raise your hands high. I just want to really see you. And out of curiosity, how many of you have heard of BTS? Huh. And how many of you have heard of Blackpink? I want to talk about a couple of things that are going to frame the conversation we have today. A couple of the struggles that Korea is undergoing right now is trying to figure out how to continue to grow at the pace at which that makes sense, that allows them to sort of sustain, to continue to grow. It's very difficult to do. Housing price, this is the average apartment price in Seoul. And almost everyone has an apartment. In 2017, it was $500,000. This is US dollars. And then, look, just 3 years later, it's almost $800,000. So imagine in 3 years, the average price of an apartment appreciates by that much, right? Like, and whereas these are the other kind of larger cities in Seoul. So you can imagine it's a country that's also very much in turmoil. And as a result of that, young people, and we're going to talk about people in their 20s a lot today, that are having to work multiple jobs, man, are just like, because when apartments go up when the price of apartments is that steep, you can assume salaries and wages are not increasing at the same level. Just like, look what's going on. Like, people are just taking on any other job. People are just trying to get going and survive and make a way for themselves, right? And I want to talk about this today. I'm just giving you some data here because this is data that I'm going to draw on in our conversation. So fertility rate is that every childbearing woman has to have 2.1 children in order for a population to reproduce itself. Without 2.1 children, the population can't continue at its current rate. It's going to decline. And Korea is 0.9, meaning the Korean population is actually decreasing. And so this is the standard sort of population pyramid. You've got to have a lot of people at the bottom to take care of the people at the top, because people at the top require a lot of work. And then this is 1960, here's 1990. Look at how the bottom is really starting to grow up, but the very bottom gets smaller, 2010, and this is 2030. And there's not enough people down here. You got to have workers. No country can grow economically without people at the bottom of its population pyramid filling the jobs that need to be filled. And so every country that runs into ultimately a period of decline, unless you can find some way out of it, like AI or something like that, right? Artificial intelligence, robots, something. But otherwise, you can't continue to grow.
오늘 이야기 어떻게 보셨나요? 오늘날 20대는 물론이고 많은 이들이 투잡, 쓰리잡을 하는 걸 쉽게 볼 수 있는데요. 이 부분까지 면밀하게 짚어낸 모습에 감탄할 수밖에 없었습니다. 강의 분량이 길어 오늘은 여기서 마무리하고 다음 영상에서 내용을 이어가려고 합니다. 시청해주신 여러분 감사드립니다.
Majoring in accounting.
South Korea. My
Studies, I don't know.
지난 시간에 이어 미국 펜실베니아 주립대학의 샘 리처드 교수의 강의를 전해드리겠습니다. 한국의 유별난 교육열이 어디에서 기인한 건지, 요즘 젊은 세대들이 얼마나 치열한 상황에서 경쟁하고 있는지 다룬 내용이었는데요. 영상으로 확인해 보시죠.
Term here, Joseon. Can you guys talk about this a little? Talk about this.
I mean, it's like a term because like you've all seen it, like how expensive it is to afford an apartment in Seoul, the capital. And it's really like, it's where most people would want to live in, have a job, have their housing. But because it's so competitive to get a job or even like a good life there, we kind of call it hell Joseon.
Hey, how do you say hey?
It's like hell Joseon.
Joseon.
Yeah.
Hey, should we say what Joseon is?
So like Korea basically like started from Joseon dynasty, and like during the period, like South like Korea was definitely harsh. And like these days, since it is like still very competitive to live there, we have like compound words, which is like combination of hell plus Joseon dynasty, just as back then.
The Joseon dynasty was about 500 years.
Yeah.
And everything what we know about Korea today largely came together in the Joseon dynasty.
Yeah.
Including the characters, right? The alphabet.
Right.
And so on. So say more about Hell Joseon. Say Hil. What else would the rest of you add to this?
Like as long as I remember, like as a student when I was back in Korea, I was a high school student there, and I was actually preparing for like many exams there, and like 90%, like just most of the students, they studied more than like 10 or 12 hours a day. So like even I studied as much as I could, it was just the average. So I remember it was very competitive.
And so the idea is that no matter what you do, you're like spinning your wheels to try to keep up with everybody else.
Right.
And you never know if you can, because are you ever gonna? Doesn't matter how much you study. You can always study more, and there's always someone else studying more. And then when you finally get a job, maybe you get a job, and then or you're graduating, now you're competing with all these other people, and you're back on the hamster wheel. And then once you get a job, maybe you're not making enough money, and you're working and working and working, and no matter what, it's like hell. It's like Squid Game, in a way, right?
So like once before, like back in high school, I had a talk with the academic counselor back in high school, and then she said like even if you study really hard during the vacation, that will just leave you as just the average, because everyone's gonna study hard during the period.
So that would sound like hell to most of you all, I would assume, right? Do you guys want to add anything to this idea?
Okay, so basically it means it's more harder for our generation to proceed compared to our parents' generation. Mm-hmm. For example, it was okay to succeed for our parents' generation, when they had to get a loan and they were able to buy apartments. Mm-hmm. But today it's really complicated and there's a lot of restrictions and it's more competitive. So yeah, literally it means it's hell for our generations compared to our parents' generations.
Talk about these. Tell people what these Hagwons are. What is this?
Okay, so Hagwon is academic lessons that students take after school. It may be just tutor or just normal lessons from another professionals. So, Koreans are they're really into education. So going to more than 3 Hagwons per day or maybe 5, it's really normal for Koreans.
To add on, there are districts of Hagwons. So there are different districts within Seoul. Some of them there are Hagwons populated within the district, so the street would be full of buildings, and within the building there would be full of Hagwons, for math, science, English, foreign languages. There will be Hagwon for literally anything, any subject you can think of.
Okay, so hang on. So let's be clear here. You go to school, then you have lunch, and you go to afternoon school. Yeah? That's your regular school, which is already longer than in most places in the U.S., right? What's the average school day?
So normally it starts at 8, I think, and then ends at 3 afternoon. So that's only school. And
okay,
then,
so everyone goes to school, right? Okay, so all right, go ahead.
And then after school, when I was in middle school, I went to 2 or 3 Hagwons. It's basically line tutoring, at line tutors, but in some tutoring, if you get, they test you, and then if you don't get high scores, they don't send you home. So
wait, so you get locked into a Hagwon?
So basically a few days I couldn't go to home, in the 3 or 4 in the morning.
Wait, so you're paying, your parents are paying for this, right? Your parents pay for this. The Hagwons you pay for.
Yeah.
Right.
$300, $400 a month.
Okay. And it could be a lot more. If you have a lot of money, obviously you're going to pay a lot of money. Okay, wait, and so then how long might you stay at a Hagwon? So after school, it's 3 o'clock, you would go directly to the tutoring? Or would you go home first? Or how do you do what?
Yeah.
And then you go?
Yeah.
What's the latest people stay at Hagwon? What then until when?
So basically 2 or 3 in the morning maybe, but during my middle school year, the law got changed. Hagwon cannot, hold students in their, until 10 o'clock. So basically, every Hagwon should end at 10 o'clock. But, there's the other way. They get apartments in the private, and then they collect students. And then they hold students until 2 or 3 in the morning. So basically, law doesn't mean anything.
Wait, hang on. Can someone, Leah, Junho, do you want to add to that?
Yeah, so there was a restriction from the government not to like block students until 10 p.m. So Hagwons, they started to gather people at real like private places like Do-hyung mentioned, or some Hagwons, they opened at 4 a.m. So like students would wake up at 3 a.m. and start their Hagwon at 4 a.m.
Before they go to school.
Yeah, before they go to school, because the
83% of Korean, about 83% of Korean 5-year-olds go to Hagwons. And about 36% of Korean 2-year-olds go to Hagwons. Dude, so we're not talking 2-year-olds aren't going 5 days a week till 2 in the morning. I mean, the average, this was one particular study, the average is like, like 2 sessions a week. And for 5-year-olds, it's like 50-minute sessions 5 days a week. But the point is, you're doing tutoring. Everyone, 83%. Y'all, something. If 70% of American 25 to 34-year-olds had college degrees, trust me, you all would be going to Hagwons also, because you'd be competing. As it is, when you graduate from Penn State, you have the idea, okay, you're going to find a job. But if you were competing with twice as many people with college degrees here or back home, wherever you're from, if you're not from the United States,